Well, look who showed up. Welcome to the Growl with Hank. I am your host, Hank Brewski. Yes, that is my real name. No, I will not apologize for it. This is the show where we break down the biggest stories in the world and make them simple enough that you could explain them to your buddy at the gas station. No fancy talk, no spin. Just a bear, a cup of coffee, and the truth. Before we get into it, let me tell you what this show is about. I am not here to tell you what to think. I am here to tell you what is happening, why it matters, and what the people in charge do not want you to notice. I lean conservative. I believe in hard work, common sense, and leaving people alone. But I will call out anyone who is being ridiculous. Left or right, no one gets a pass on this show. Now grab your coffee or your beer. I am not judging. Let us get into it. All right, time for the Bears Brew. This is where I give you the 3 biggest stories of the week in plain English. No filler, no fluff, just the facts and my take. Let us start with the big one. Israel just eliminated 3 of Iran's top officials in about 24 hours. We are talking the intelligence minister, the head of the Supreme National Security Council, and the commander of the besieged militia. That is not a warning shot. That is a statement. Think of it like this. Imagine your rival football team lost their head coach, their offensive coordinator, and their star quarterback all in the same game. That team is not running plays anymore. They are just trying to figure out who is in charge. Now Iran says they are retaliating. They have launched strikes against Gulf countries. The Strait of Hormuz is a mess. That is the waterway where a huge chunk of the world's oil flows through. When that gets disrupted, gas prices go up. Your grocery bill goes up. Everything goes up. Here is what I want you to understand. This is not just a story about bombs and missiles over there. This is a story about your wallet right here. Every time that region gets hotter, your gas pump gets more expensive. That is just how the world works. And right now, it is very hot. Story number 2. The Federal Reserve had its big meeting today, and the decision was, drum roll. They did nothing. Rates are staying right where they are, between 3.5% and 3.75%. Now let me explain why this matters if you are not a Wall Street guy. Interest rates are like the thermostat for the whole economy. When rates are high, borrowing money costs more. That means your mortgage is more expensive. Your car loan is more expensive. Your credit card bill? Oof. Do not even look at it. The Fed wanted to cut rates this year, but then the war in Iran happened. Oil prices shot up, and now inflation is creeping back. So they are stuck. They cannot lower rates because inflation is still too high. But they are afraid to raise rates because the job market is wobbly. We just lost 92,000 jobs in February. It is like being stuck in the middle lane on the highway. You want to speed up, but there is a truck in front of you. You want to slow down, but there is a guy on your bumper. So you just sit there. That is the Fed right now, just sitting there. Some economists are saying we might not get a single rate cut this entire year. If that happens, do not expect housing to get any cheaper. Lock in what you can and plan accordingly. That is my advice. I am a bear, not a financial advisor. But that is common sense. All right, story number 3. And this one is actually fun. Venezuela just beat Team USA 3-2 in the World Baseball Classic Final. Their first title ever. Now listen, I love America. Obviously. Look at the flag behind me. But I have to give credit where credit is due. Venezuela played their hearts out. Their starting pitcher, Eduardo Rodriguez, held our guys to 1 hit over 4 1/3 innings. Aaron Judge went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. 3! Bryce Harper hit a monster 2-run homer in the 8th to tie it up, and the whole stadium went crazy. For about 5 minutes, it looked like America was going to pull off the comeback. But then in the 9th, Eugenio Suarez ripped a double and drove in the go-ahead run. Game over. Here is the thing that got me. After the game, the Venezuelan players were crying. They sang their national anthem on the field. Their country declared a national holiday. A national holiday. For a baseball game. That is what sports can do. It can give people something to be proud of when everything else feels broken. And look, there is an obvious political layer here. The US captured Venezuela's president back in January. Tensions are real. But on that field last night, it was just baseball. And baseball won. Hats off to Venezuela. Okay, pause and effect time. This is the part of the show where we take one big topic and I break it down so anyone can understand it. Today we are talking about something that affects every single one of you. Let me paint the picture for you. Before the war with Iran started, gas was heading in a decent direction. Not great, but manageable. Oil was around 75 bucks a barrel. Then the conflict kicked off. And now we are staring at oil prices around $100 a barrel. Some analysts say it could go higher. Why does that matter? Because oil is not just gas for your car. Oil touches everything. That truck that delivers your groceries runs on diesel. That airplane carrying your Amazon package runs on jet fuel. The plastic in your kid's lunchbox, made from petroleum. When oil goes up, the whole economy feels it. It is like a tax that nobody voted for. Now here is the part that makes me growl. The Strait of Hormuz. About 20% of the world's oil passes through this narrow little waterway between Iran and the Arabian Peninsula. Iran has basically said it is not going back to normal anytime soon. That means supply is choked, and when supply gets choked, prices go up. Trump just waived the Jones Act for 60 days. That is the old law that says only American ships can move goods between American ports. Waiving it means foreign ships can now help move fuel around the country. That should help a little bit. But it is a band-aid on a bigger problem. So what can you actually do? Let me give you 3 practical moves. Number 1. If you have been putting off a car repair or an oil change, do it now. A well-maintained engine uses less gas. That is free money. Number 2. Lock in your heating oil or propane contract if you have not already. Prices are going up, and waiting is going to cost you. Number 3. Pay attention to where you shop. Gas station prices can vary by 30 or 40 cents within the same town. Use an app like Gas Buddy. It takes 10 seconds and could save you $5 a fill-up. Over a year, that adds up. Look, I am not going to sugarcoat it. This is going to be a rough stretch for gas prices. But rough does not mean helpless. You adjust, you plan, you do not panic. That is the American way. That is the bear way too, come to think of it. Alright, it is time for the growl. This is the part of the show where I get something off my furry chest. This week, I am growling about people who do not read past the headline. I see it every single day. Someone shares an article on social media. The headline says something wild, and within 5 minutes, people are losing their minds in the comments, screaming at each other, calling each other names, and not a single one of them read the actual article. You know what you look like when you argue about an article you did not read? You look like the guy at a restaurant yelling about the food before the waiter even brings it out. You have not tasted anything yet. Sit down. Here is the thing. Headlines are designed to make you mad. That is their job. Angry people click. Clicking makes money. So the headline is never the full story. It is the bait. And if you bite every time without reading the full thing, you are the fish. And I say that with love. So here is my challenge to everyone listening. Next time you see a headline that makes your blood boil, stop. Read the article. The whole article. Then form your opinion. I promise you half the time the article says something completely different from what the headline suggested. Be smarter than the algorithm. Be smarter than the bait. And for the love of everything, stop arguing in Facebook comments. Nobody has ever won a Facebook argument. Nobody. In the history of the internet. 0. That is my growl. I feel better now. Let us wrap this up. Alright folks, that is it for episode 1 of the Growl with Hank. Our very first episode. If you made it this far, I appreciate you more than you know. Let me give you the quick recap. Israel took out 3 of Iran's top officials in 24 hours, and the Middle East is on fire. The Fed is holding rates steady because they are stuck between inflation and a shaky job market. Venezuela shocked Team USA in the World Baseball Classic, and honestly, it was a great game. Gas prices are going to get ugly, so start planning now. And stop arguing about headlines you did not read. That is the news. That is the truth. That is the growl. If you like this episode, subscribe. Share it with a friend. Share it with someone who needs to hear the news explained in a way that actually makes sense. And leave a review so more people can find this show. I am Hank Brewski. This is The Growl. Stay sharp, stay free, and I will see you next week.